words appear. Zoe's tips, tricks, and how-tos. On Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? The Blind Perspective Network. And Victor Gouveia announcing. Sponsored by VIP Tech. Welcome to Zoe's Tips, Tricks, and How-Tos, the show where Zoe Fiogkos offers you a method of doing things from her blind perspective. I am your announcer, Victor Gouveia, and remember, if you like what you're about to hear, activate the like button and share it with your friends and families if you think they can benefit from anything we have to say here, and subscribe, making sure to hit the notification bell so you know when we go live or upload a new video. Additionally, we are streaming on our Facebook page, Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? And on Twitter at Blind Whose. That's BLINDWHOSE. Alternatively, if you don't like those platforms, you may benefit from podcasts. Whether you have an iDevice, an Android device, an Amazon device, or a Windows device, we are available on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Pocket Cast, and on Amazon Podcasts. Alternatively, if you want a copy of the audio or video for this episode or any episode broadcast on our network, send us an email, whoseblindlifeisitanyway@gmail.com, and we will send you a Dropbox link for the folder that houses all the episodes we broadcast here on the network. On this episode, Zoe offers you a demonstration of the My Way talking scale, a scale that Zoe has agreed has changed her life, especially in the kitchen, and has made her life so much easier. And now I present Zoe Fiogkos.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Tips, Tricks, and How-Tos. I told you on the first episode where I introduced you to the pen friend that I'll be doing some videos every so often on how to help the blind with daily tasks. Of course, my main focus is cooking. So I'm going to do a tips, tricks, and how-tos on as much of cooking items as I can think of. I want to lessen the time that I'm taping on my actual recipes to accommodate sighted people as well. And also I think it's a good referral point. So instead of watching a whole video, maybe you just want to know, I don't know, how to dice an onion. And you can go through the tips, tricks, and how-tos section and maybe look for a title, how to peel vegetables or how to dice vegetables or whatever the case is. I don't know exactly what I'm going to have up there. So, for example, the first one I think was called Tips, Tricks, How-Tos, Introducing the Pen Friend. So tips, tricks, and how-tos today is we're going to talk about the talking cooking scale in a little bit more length. Because when I'm doing a recipe, I can't really demonstrate everything the scale does or how to use it, because I would just be taking away time from the actual cooking and recipe. So this is what we're going to be doing. I hope you guys find this helpful. I'm going to try to do my best. I've explained in the past, and yes, at this point you can all laugh. I am 50 and I am forgetful. So if I forget something, I'll just maybe add another video or I don't know, add it in the description box, or you can ask questions, and so on and so forth. So, what we're talking about today is the kitchen cooking scale. And I actually introduced this to you guys way back on my first cooking episode. But today I'm going to go in a little more detail. So, this talking scale is called My Way. There's 2 brands out there that I know of, but I forget the name of the other one. Not Vox. Anyways, I'm sorry guys, I don't remember. And the reason I don't remember is because I actually prefer the other one. But where I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the store I buy my kitchen scale from, they're not bringing that brand anymore. And I haven't had time to research online to see the other one. So generally these scales, they tell you can weigh up to, I think it's 3 kilograms or 5 pounds. And I think there is a version that goes a little higher. And the other scale that I'm talking about, that I can't remember the name of it, it's actually got a round platform for weighing. This one has a square one. So this one is actually the higher weight as well. It's got a round one, and it actually comes with a bowl that fits very nicely on the scale. So if I do find that one again, I will maybe do a very short video, because other than the brand name, the shape of the weighing area, and that it comes with a bowl, and the weight difference, everything else is the same. So this particular one, if you turn it upside down, which I've done, I'm laying it flat on my counter, you can feel with your hands. So on your left hand side, you feel the battery compartment, and you just like any other battery compartment, you tug at the little clip and a compartment opens up. So I'm holding a square a square back compartment to my batteries. I forget what these are called. So this one takes 1, 2, 3, 4 batteries, and they're your regular AA? Mm-hmm. AA batteries. If you have rechargeable batteries, that's great, because when you're out of batteries, you can just change the, put the charged ones in and put the old ones to charge. I don't have rechargeable batteries. I am looking at getting myself a few. Sometimes what I do is I just have 2 scales in my house, so that if one runs out all of a sudden out of battery, and I'm in trouble because I need it, I just have the other one. But for those of you who have seen some of my cooking episodes, you know I have a trailer, and I actually took that one up there. So now I only have one in the house. So I'm either going to get another one or get rechargeable batteries. Anyways, so I'm just going to put the compartment back on. So you just find when it fits correctly and press down, and you'll hear a click, and it'll close. Now, there are 2 buttons at the sort of middle, left-hand side towards the top. Not quite to the top. It's somewhere between the middle and the top. These 2 buttons, one of them is for volume, and the other one is to actually turn speech off. Okay? And what I could have done is, before I started the video, I could have had the cameraman confirm which is which, and I didn't. Not because I'm funny, not because I think I know it all, but because, you know what? If you're forgetful like me, even if I tell you which button is which, and you forget, how are you going to know? So, for right now, hold on, I'm going to turn on the scale.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to wait for her to say it's ready.
It's ready.
Okay, I'm going to turn it upside down now, and now I'm going to, there's 2 buttons exactly in the same position. One a top one and a bottom one. So I'm going to click to the right, the top one. And let's see what happened. Whoops, I'm sorry. Let's take something. Okay. So I actually put something on the weighing area and she's not saying anything. Is there writing here? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's our speech off. So if there's somebody in the house who's sighted and wants to use it without the speech, that's what that's for. So I'm going to take whatever I put on the weighing area. I'm going to turn the scale upside down again, find the two buttons, go to the top one and click it back towards the left. Now, if I put something on the weighing area,
127 grams.
okay, so that's our speech on and off button. Now, there's another button, like we said at the bottom. I'm going to click that to the left, to the right. Okay, so it just goes back and forth. So now, I'm going to put something back.
0 grams.
Okay, she said 0 grams. It's good enough. If I, without turning it over,
7 grams.
okay, if I push that button again, okay, I pushed the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Okay.
127 grams.
So she says 127 grams. If I flick that button again, now, that's your volume button. There is a difference. You may not be able to hear it on the actual camera. Okay, so that's what those two buttons do. Your top button is your speech on and off, and your bottom button is your volume button. Okay, to the front of the scale, like I said, we've got
0 grams.
a rectangular metal space that you can feel with your hand. It's pretty big. And then,
Grams.
yeah, okay. Hold on, let me shut her up for a second.
Goodbye.
Okay, so the scale is rectangle. You have it in front of you all the way to the top. If you put your hand and you feel, it's got a rectangular metal raised area. That's your weighing area. Underneath that, you can feel a rectangle, and that's your sighted. If you're visually impaired, it's got big numbers. So if it says 5 grams, it'll have a big number 5. If you're sighted and you don't want to use the speech, that's where you would look. That's your display. And under your display, you've got 4 humongous buttons. All the way to the right, the first button has an actual circle. You can feel it with your hands. That's your on button. The second button has no, I can't really say it's got a physical braille or anything like that. It feels a little bit deeper than the other buttons. That's the only difference I can see. That's your goodbye button. That's your off button. So your first button with the circle is your on button all the way to the right. The second one is your off button. The third one is your ounces and grams, your measurement. And your fourth one is your tare button. So to turn on the scale, we're going to find the on button all the way to the right, and we're going to turn it on.
Hello.
And right away she says hello.
It's ready.
When she's ready to weigh, she says it's ready. Okay? The button next to that is off. So I'm going to press it and she will say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay? The third button, so to demonstrate the third button, I have to turn her on again.
Hello. It's ready.
It's ready. Okay. So I'm going to take a potato in my hand and I'm going to put it on the directly on the weighing area. No bowls, cups, nothing.
127 grams.
Okay, 127 grams. But let's say you have a recipe that says, I don't know, use 5 ounces of potatoes. You
128 grams.
would find the third button and press it. And listen.
4.5 ounces.
So that says 4.5 ounces. So if your recipe called for 5 ounces, you're half an ounce short. And you would have to add more potato or find a bigger one. Okay? Now, the other thing I want to tell you is that I turned this to ounces.
0.0 ounce.
So I took the potato off and now there's nothing on the scale. So she said 0.0 ounces. I'm going to turn it off again.
Goodbye.
Now listen what happens when I turn it back on.
Hello. It's ready.
Okay, I'm going to put the potato back on.
4.5 ounces.
4.5 ounces. So the scale remembers your last preference of measurement. So when we switched it to ounces, we turned the scale off, we turned it back on. She remained at ounces. If I turn it to grams, so I press the third button.
128 grams.
So I press the third button. She said 128 grams. I'm going to take the potato off. She's going to announce 0 grams.
0 grams.
Okay, and turn off the scale again. Sorry.
Goodbye.
I by accident pressed the on button. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, I'm going to turn the scale back on and listen. She's going to greet us. She's going to tell us it's ready.
Hello. It's ready.
Okay, if I put the potato back on now.
129 grams.
So she again told us grams. She told us grams because before we turned off the scale, that was our last preference. Let's
0
say,
grams.
for argument's sake, let me grab a bowl. Let's say you have a recipe.
Goodbye.
So I have a bowl on my scale. My scale is off. I'm going to turn it on.
Hello. It's ready.
So let's say you have a recipe that says they want you to use 5 ounces of chocolate chips. Okay? So I have my bowl. She said it's ready. I'm going to pour chocolate chips into my bowl.
100 grams.
Oh, shoot. She's saying on 100 grams because that was my last preference. I forgot to turn it to ounces. Well, no big deal.
102 grams.
You just find your third button and press it.
3.6 ounces.
3.6 ounces. So your recipe calls for 5, so you would add more. So the fact that I poured chocolate chips into my bowl, or let's say it was sugar, or let's say it was water or milk, anything of that, anything. And then you remember, oh no, I want ounces, or vice versa. You don't have to empty your bowl and redo it. You just press that button and she will tell you what it is. So now I'm going to turn it off again.
3.6 ounces. Goodbye.
And I'm going to grab another bowl. Okay. Let's say you want to measure, we're just going to take the example of chocolate chips again, okay? Just because I have them handy. Let's say you want to measure chocolate chips. You have the bowl in your hand, you have the chocolate chips in your hand, you're ready to go. You turn on the scale and you wait. Your mind is on the kids.
It's ready.
She said it's ready. I put my bowl on. Let me grab my...
8.8 ounces.
Wait a second. What do you mean 8.8 ounces? I need 5 ounces of chocolate chips. Oh, I forgot to put the bowl on the scale. before I turned it on. So you go to the fourth button and press it.
0.0 ounce.
That's your tare button. So even though now the bowl is on the scale, she's telling us there's 0 grams on the scale. So whatever she told us the bowl was, 8 ounces, she subtracted it. I'm going to add my chocolate chips into the new empty bowl.
3.5 ounces.
3.5 ounces. So that's what your fourth button does. It tears away your measuring, scales. I remember the word in Greek and I don't remember it in English. Your measuring cup or plate or whatever it is you're using. Okay, so now I want to
8.8 ounces.
Okay, I'm gonna close this for a second. So I hope you guys understood this tear. I think I'm gonna demonstrate it one more time just to make sure. So we're gonna tell her to,
Goodbye.
okay, sorry, goodbye. Now we're gonna turn her on.
It's ready.
I'm gonna put my plate on.
8.7 ounces.
I'm gonna press the tear button.
0.0 ounce.
So when you press the tear button, you hear a beep, and then you have to wait for her to announce 0.0 ounces or grams or whatever you're using. And I'm just going to stick an onion in the bowl.
3.4 ounces.
So that onion weighs 3.4 ounces. If I were to take the bowl and the onion off the scale, and I'm going to turn it back on, listen.
Hello. It's ready.
Okay, I'm going to put the bowl on the scale.
8.8 ounces.
I'm not going to press the tear button. I'm going to put the onion in the bowl.
12.2 ounces.
So 12.2 ounces. That onion is not 12.2 ounces. 12.2 ounces is almost a pound. So this is what your tear button is for. So before you would add your food, you would tear, think about it, tear away the object. You're tearing away the measurement. So that's how you do it with bowls. That's the tear function.
0.0 ounce.
Now, since we have her on, I want to tell you that if you are weighing something, objects, let's say you want to weigh a pie shell, you would just put it directly on the weighing area.
7.4 ounces.
So that's telling me that this pie shell is 7.4 ounces if I want to know in grams.
7.4 ounces.
If I want to know in grams, what am I going to press? The third button.
211 grams.
211 grams. I'm going to take it off.
0 grams.
She's back to 0. I want to weigh my onion.
96 grams.
96 grams. Okay, I want to know what my potato is. I'm going to
0 grams.
remove the onion from the weighing area. Now I'm going to add the potato directly onto the weighing area.
128 grams.
So we're back to that potato that's 128 grams. Oh, geez, do you remember how to do ounces? So as you're looking at the scale, the first button is the on, the second is the goodbye, the off, the third button is our measurement.
4.5 ounces.
4.5 ounces. And I've got nothing to tear away. If I wanted to right now and I press tear, look what happens. The potato's still on there. Beep.
0.0 ounces.
So even though I have a potato on my weighing area, she's saying 0.0 ounces because I pressed the tear. So if I take the onion now and add it onto the scale with my potato,
4 ounces.
she's telling me 3.4 ounces. But that's not true because we have a potato and an onion on there. But that's just another way for me to describe to you how to use
9.4 ounces.
the tear feature. So I'm going to remove these items. We don't need them anymore.
4.5 ounces.
Now, the reason she just said 4.5 ounces is because I took the potato and the onion off, and she's telling me the tear measurement that we took away. So when we put the potato on, she said 4.5 ounces. We pressed the tear button. She went to 0. We added the onion. She told us the weight of the onion is 3.4 ounces. But then when I removed both items, she went back to the original weight of the potato. That sounds a little bit confusing, but you know, you'll get used to that. You shouldn't worry about that because you've weighed your items, you've pulled them off the scale, you're just going to press goodbye. Don't even bother listening to her at that point. She's just telling you your tear measurement. So basically, these are the functions of the kitchen scale, but I do want to demonstrate something to you guys. So let's say I'm going to put my bowl on my scale before I turn it on. And let's say I'm baking a cake and I need 150 grams of sugar. Or actually, you know what? So, here's another way of knowing. I usually have sugar and coffee on this counter. Now, before I started the video, I took everything away and left my sugar on the counter. But I don't know if somebody sighted in the house, walked in, and maybe thought, oh, Zoe took the coffee and forgot to put it back. Is my coffee there? I don't know. I picked up a jar that feels like either my coffee or sugar jar. How do I know this is sugar or coffee? This isn't labeled or anything. Well, the one way I know is I'll open up the cap and I'll smell it. Doesn't smell like coffee to me. That tells me that's sugar. Do I want to be absolutely 100% sure? I could touch it, and that would also confirm. But what I also could do is grab both the jars in my hand and shake them. Shake one at a time. Sorry, I have a spoon in my hands. Hold on. Okay. If I shake the sugar, okay, it sounds like, if I shake the coffee, sugar, coffee. Coffee is louder, and obviously instant coffee, the grains are much bigger than sugar, so it's louder and I can hear it. Also, I can tell by the smell. So, that just came into my mind. So let's say, I'm actually going to make it a little difficult. Let's say you know that a cup of sugar is 200 grams. And you can put it on your scale and find your 200 grams, or you can, not use your scale and just fill up a cup with sugar, or half a cup and just fill it up. But what if a recipe calls for something, I don't know, like 175 grams, 180 grams. That's not a cup, that's not half a cup, that's not a 3/4 cup. How are you going to measure sugar? How are you going to measure 180 grams? Of course, you can sit and try and do the math and say, half a cup is 120 and plus this, plus that. But if you suck at arithmetic like I do, or if you don't have 25 million cups with 100 different measurements, you might not be able to figure out. So,
Hello.
we're going to turn her on. We have our bowl on the scale before we turned it on.
It's ready.
And I'm going to tip sugar into this bowl now that she said it's ready.
0.5 ounce.
There you go. I forgot to turn it to grams. My cake says 180 grams.
Ounces.
So let me find the fourth button. The third button.
110 grams.
110. I need 180. So let's keep going.
151 grams.
Okay. Keep going.
217 grams.
217. My cake says 180. So grab a spoon and scoop up
220
sugar
grams.
with a spoon and put it back into your container of sugar. So let's say I've grabbed,
203 grams.
I'm down to 203. So let's go again.
195 grams.
195. Gonna take another teaspoon.
188 grams.
Okay, 188.
183 grams.
183. Now, I removed a little bit. She's being stubborn, doesn't want to tell me because there is a
180 grams.
okay, well, she decided to be nice. Sometimes, now we got the measurement we want. Sometimes when you move around, the measurement will change. Just test it a few times to if you need to be exact. One way to do that is, she told me it's 180, so I've got a spoon in my hand. I'm holding it at the tip. I'm gonna find the bowl and just release the spoon into the sugar.
198 grams.
She said 198. Now I'm gonna find the tip of the spoon as quick as possible, and I'm gonna lift quickly.
182 grams.
Okay, she said 182. So now what do I have? Do I have 180 or do I have 182? I'm gonna try again. Drop the spoon.
179 grams.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
198 grams.
Okay, I'm gonna lift the spoon again.
181 grams.
Okay, so 181. So what's happening, these talking scales do have I think it's either a 2 gram or a 3 gram, I don't know what to call it, sort of like a leeway. Usually, if your scale is going between 181 and 180, you're pretty much okay. If she's giving you a different measurement every single time, like 180 and then 190 and then 187, you're either moving around too much or you're touching the bowl too much or something like that. So it takes a while to get used to how quick your action or how light you should touch things, or excuse me, how quickly you should remove the spoon just for testing purposes and so on and so forth. So that's how you would measure, for example, solids. And I'll put that later. I showed you weights with a potato and onion. I showed you chocolate chips. I showed you sugar. You get the idea. It's the same thing with butter. It's the same thing with cheese. Obviously, I used small bowls. If you're measuring something huge, I have had to measure a kilogram of cheese. Or I've had to measure, I have a recipe that calls for something like 250 grams of mozzarella cheese, 250 cheddar, 250 feta. I can't remember the fourth cheese now. What I do with that is, because cheeses are solids, they're not liquids, I would take a big bowl and I'll put it on here, wait till she says 0, or, ready, whatever, 0 grams. And what I'll do is I will grate my mozzarella, put it in until, whoops.
251 grams. Goodbye.
Okay, sorry, just need to turn that off. I will add mozzarella to the bowl until I hear her say 250. Now, if it's 249 or 252, it's okay. These are, you're making a cheese blend for, let's say, lasagna. So then I would stop adding the mozzarella, but I wouldn't let the scale turn off. I'll continue with the next cheese and I'll add my feta. And then I'll hear her say, 250 plus 250, 500. I'll hear her say 500, 505, 503. Okay, good, we're good. Then I'll put the feta aside and I'll start adding the cheddar, for example. The cheddar cheese, until I get to the 1,000 grams of the 4 cheeses. So you get the idea. And it's the same with cutting up vegetables. I'm sorry, but I didn't have anything to cut up today other than that onion and that potato. But if you wanted to chop directly into a bowl on the scale, as long as you don't touch the scale. So for example, hold on. So let's say you grab a big, humongous mixing bowl. You put it on your scale. You turn the scale on.
Hello. It's ready.
And she said it's ready. So let's say I wanted, I don't know, 8 ounces, whatever, 600 grams of onions. I would start to chop my onion, dice my onion directly over the bowl. But you gotta make sure your arms don't touch the bowl.
0 grams.
So what I did right now, I purposely touched her. So if I have my onion and my hand touches her, she's going to speak. So let's say
0 grams.
this onion is already diced, okay? I'm just gonna put it in the bowl.
97 grams.
Okay? She's telling me that's 97 grams, but let's say I need 300 grams of onions, okay? I've got the potato in my hand, and let's pretend it's an onion. If I go over the bowl and start chopping and letting the onion fall, she'll continue to tell me the measurements. But if I by accident touch the bowl,
96 grams.
so she said 96 grams. Depending on the pressure of your arm on the bowl, she may say 102 grams. But that's not the actual weight of your food. So you have to be a little bit careful to not touch the bowl. Because anything that touches the bowl, she's weighing, okay? The other thing I want to tell you is, I'm just going to add my knife right into the bowl with the onion.
123 grams.
So she said 123 grams for the onion and the knife. Let's just pretend let's just pretend there's food in there. But let's say
126 grams.
so I'm purposely shaking now, and I'm gonna bang things on the counter, and by accident I move the scale. I'm gonna walk across the room. By doing all these movements, we're throwing her off. We're throwing the balance off. And let's say she's gonna announce the weight, and it's different from what she originally.
125 grams.
Now she's saying 125. A minute ago she was saying 123. And it could get worse depending on your movement. If you start getting confused and you're not sure now of what your weight is, well, one, you can turn it off, add a new bowl on, and just empty the contents in all at once, and she'll tell you. Or just lift up your bowl and let it sit.
126 grams.
Okay? So I maybe did it too tough because I was trying to show you guys. So I'm going to lift the bowl and set it down again.
122 grams.
There you go. We're back down to that 123, 122 mark. So I basically forced her to...
125 grams.
Yeah, I basically forced her to clear her mind. So you're going to learn it as you go, how to do everything. So the final thing...
541 grams.
541 grams is the weight of the original bowl we put on, because I forgot to turn it off. So she told me the tare measurement. I'm going to turn it off.
Goodbye.
The last thing I want to demonstrate, and I hope you guys got it down pat now, and if you're still confused and you have any questions, by all means, please send me an email. I've been using these scales for over 10 years. I weigh meatballs to bake. I weigh sugar, flour, salt, water, milk, tomato sauce, vegetables. I weigh everything. I've weighed spices. I've weighed yeast. Some recipe called for, 2.5 ounces of yeast, but I buy my yeast in bigger bulks. So I would take a very tiny, let's say, dessert bowl or a custard cup, something like that, and I'd put it on my scale, and then with a teaspoon, I would add yeast until I hear her say 2.4 ounces or whatever it is that I need. So I just want to measure liquid for you guys. Liquid, hold on a sec, let me get some milk out of the fridge. And I'm not wasting milk, don't worry, I will drink it. I'm going to grab a large, I don't know how large this is, but we'll try it. Okay. I've got a large metal cup in my hands, okay? I'm gonna put it on the scale. The scale is off, if I remember correctly. Now, the bigger the container is, the better, because us blind people, we're really prone to spilling things. So let's say I need a recipe that tells me I need, I don't know, 3 ounces of milk. Or, I don't know, 5 ounces of orange juice or water or whatever liquid. Turn the scale on.
It's ready.
Now, how are you going to find the top of the cup so that you can add your milk, water, juice, or whatever it is? Well, at this point, you're going to have to touch the cup gently, lightly. So you know, now I know I'm over the cup because I can feel the cup and I can feel that I'm over the cup.
1 gram.
So she said 1 gram. I'm going to hold
0 gram.
until she says 0, and I'm going to start to pour.
156 grams.
So I pulled my hand away once I poured, and she said 156 grams. If I needed 150 grams,
154 grams.
or, okay, she's saying 154 now. If I needed 150 grams and I had to be exact, you'd have to use the spoon technique. Again, if you don't have to be exact, if you watch my cooking shows, I tell you when you have to be exact. If my recipe calls for 150 grams of milk and it's 152, I will tell you it's okay. But let's say I need to take milk out now. So I would insert my spoon. Now this is a cup. I could have used a plate to make it easier, but I'm going to tilt the cup, grab some milk, let the cup sit back.
152 grams.
So I took 2 grams out. So you got to be a little quick with this. I leave the tip of the...
157 grams.
I touched her, that's why she said more. You got to touch the...
153 grams.
Sorry, guys. I touch the cup, I tilt it quickly, I grab a spoonful, and I let it lightly back into place. So I tip, the one tip is going to be on. So I tip, scoop, let it sit, pull my spoon away.
149 grams.
So I'm at 149. 149 is better than 154 if you need 150. And like we said, there's always a 1 to 3 gram difference. So that might be it might be enough. So I'd let the milk drop, and that's it. And that's how you would do liquid. Now, doing liquid in a bowl
72 grams.
is easier.
Goodbye.
I did it in a cup, but now I'm going to do it in a bowl. So I have the glass of, or the cup of milk in my hands. I've got the bowl on the scale. I'm going to turn on the scale.
Hello. It's ready.
It's ready. I'm going to add the milk into the bowl.
147 grams.
Okay, 147 grams. So if I want to add a little more, now I can. And if I want to scoop milk out, I don't have to tip no cup. Let's say I need 40 grams. I put my spoon into the bowl, scoop milk up,
144 grams.
so I'm at 144. Let's take out another teaspoon. She doesn't want to tell us. Okay.
142 grams.
There we go, 142. So I would take out a little more, or whatever the case may be. You get the idea.
160 grams.
Okay, she's saying 160 because I just let my spoon drop into the bowl. I'm going to turn it off.
Goodbye.
So that's our scale, people. It's called the My Way, I believe. Yeah, My Way. It's approximately $40 or $45 Canadian. In Canada, you can get it at the National Canadian National Institute for the Blind. Here in Toronto, there is a store called Blind Aids on Eglinton. You can definitely get it there. I'm pretty sure you can order it online. I know they have it in the States. So if you're watching me from, I don't know, Greece or Italy, I'm sorry guys, I don't know if these things exist there. I haven't done my research in Greece, for example, to see if these items are available. I have the luxury, or I've had, actually, no, not the luxury. I've had the good luck to be able to travel to Greece a few times. So I've left some blind gadgets that I need in my life. I've left them in Greece. So when I do have the luck to go to Greece, which isn't often, unfortunately, I just can't afford trips to Greece. But when I do go down, even if it's once every 10 years or 20 years or whatever the case is, I actually have some gadgets down there so that I don't have to lug them with me from Canada. However, I do intend to do some research and see what is available in Greece. Anyhow, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys understood everything. I hope you understood the demonstration well. I hope you were able to hear me well, and I hope I didn't confuse you too much. I absolutely adore this product. I do wish that they would make talking scales a little touch more accurate, and I wish they would make them a little bit with a higher weight capacity. So for example, this goes up to 5 pounds, but for argument's sake, let's say, I don't know, let's say somebody saw episode 3 of my cooking show, my oven make meatballs, and they said, I absolutely love your meatballs and I want you to make me, I don't know, meatballs for 1,000 people. And I need to weigh, I don't know, 15 pounds of ground beef. I would have to do it in batches. I can't do it on this scale. I'm not saying that they should make a talking scale that goes up to 50 pounds. That's not what I'm saying. But, 5 pounds, a little more. So if you're making jam and you need, 8 pounds of fruit, I would have to do it in batches. So that's my only complaint about these scales. Other than that, I'm grateful for them because I use it on a daily basis and it has made my life easier. And that's it. That's all. I hope this, our tips, tricks, and how-tos, I hope it's of benefit to you. I hope it helps. And I will see you on the, oh, no. If you do need to get a hold of me to ask me a question, Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner at gmail.com or whose blind life is it anyway at gmail.com. Okay, guys. See you on the next episode. Bye.
Catch Zoe's tips, tricks, and how-tos every Wednesday afternoons on Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner and Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? The Blind Perspective Network.